Today, something unusual is happening along the North American border, something so subtle, so unexpected, that most people haven't even noticed it yet. For the first time in years, Canada is quietly defeating the United States in a global battle Washington didn't even realize it had entered, the travel war. Flights are shifting. Tourists are rerouting. International spending patterns are flipping upside down. And behind this sudden and dramatic shift lies a strategy that could reshape Canada's economic future far more than anyone in Washington is prepared for. It all began when the United States slipped into a new era of uncertainty. Airport chaos, political division, policy swings and threats of sudden bans created an atmosphere the world had not seen in decades. Travelers started feeling the instability in real time: long visa lines, aggressive border questioning, sudden cancellations, and rising costs. And while America struggled, something fascinating happened to the north. Canada, a nation often overshadowed by its powerful southern neighbor, stepped into the gap with a level of confidence and clarity that caught global attention. International travelers, once determined to visit New York, Miami, or Los Angeles, began searching for alternatives. They were looking for safety, predictability, affordability, and calm. And suddenly, Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal and Calgary weren't just backup options, they became the preferred choice. Airlines noticed it first. Routes into Canada started filling faster than expected. Hotels saw higher occupancy. Cities once considered secondary destinations were increasingly appearing on top 10 global travel lists. Something fundamental was changing, and Canada understood it before Washington did. Behind closed doors, former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney had been warning policymakers about this moment for years. In his view, global instability always opens a window for stable nations. Stability is a currency, he said repeatedly, and now, Canada was finally cashing it in. International travelers were not just choosing Canada because it was beautiful, they were choosing Canada because it felt safe, rational and predictable compared to the growing volatility in the United States. But if you look deeper, the shift wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Canada made deliberate moves to capitalize on America's missteps. While U.S. consulates struggled with months-long visa delays, Canada rapidly accelerated its approval system. While U.S. airports faced staffing shortages and chaotic holiday scenes, Canada strengthened its aviation operations quietly and efficiently. While U.S. cities saw rising crime headlines dominating global media, Canada's cities emerged as havens of order and normalcy. Travelers began sharing their experiences online, and a pattern emerged: Canada simply felt easier. The numbers tell an even more dramatic story. International spending in Canada began rising sharply, while the United States saw stagnation. Airlines started shifting capacity. Tourism boards began redirecting advertising budgets away from the U.S. and toward Canada. This wasn't a small trend, it was a migration of global attention. And all of it was happening at a time when Washington's political turbulence made foreign visitors increasingly nervous. A single election cycle could change entry rules, visa requirements, border enforcement, even travel advisories. No major tourist nation can thrive on unpredictability, and that is exactly what the United States was offering. Meanwhile, Canada offered consistency. It offered a predictable political climate. It offered a sense of neutrality in a turbulent world. And whether people admit it or not, many global travelers now view Canada as the safe North American option. Instead of chaos, they see calm. Instead of tension, they see moderation. Instead of volatility, they see leadership that understands the value of quiet confidence, the kind of leadership Carney advocated during his years in global finance. But the story doesn't end with tourists. The travel war has deeper consequences, ones that directly impact the future of Canada's economy. Increased tourism boosts revenue for airlines, hotels, restaurants, and transport companies. It supports small businesses across provinces. It strengthens international relationships, encourages foreign students, and boosts brand Canada at a time when global influence matters more than ever. And quietly, this surge is also affecting Canada's housing demand, rental markets, and long-term immigration patterns. A simple shift in travel preference is transforming entire sectors. Washington, meanwhile, is scrambling to understand what changed. For decades, it assumed its dominance was permanent, that global travelers would always choose the United States over any alternative. But dominance built on assumption is fragile. Dominance built on stability, however, is durable. And this is where Canada is winning. The US relies on its reputation. Canada relies on its behavior. The US relies on its image. Canada relies on its execution. While America debates, Canada adjusts. While America reacts, Canada plans. This difference is subtle, but in global markets, subtle differences change everything. And there's a hidden twist: Canada hasn't even reached its peak advantage yet. International travel analysts say that over the next 2 years, Canada could double its global tourism share if it continues its current trajectory. With US politics expected to remain turbulent, the gap may widen even further. This isn't just a temporary moment. It could become a long-term shift in global perception, one where Canada overtakes the United States in areas Washington once dominated effortlessly. But there's a warning buried in this victory. If Canada wants to maintain its lead, it must avoid complacency. It must expand infrastructure, improve airports, streamline visas even further, and maintain the stability that makes travelers choose it over the United States. Because if Canada lets this window close, the US will reclaim the lead instantly. Washington may be distracted now, but it won't be forever. Travel is not just an industry, it's geopolitics, economics, soft power, and national identity woven into one. Today, as travelers quietly choose Canada over the world's largest economy, the message is clear: in a world shaken by uncertainty, stability wins. And Canada, guided by leaders who understand that simple truth, leaders like Mark Carney, is positioned to turn this moment into something much bigger than a tourism surge. It is turning it into influence, opportunity, and economic strength. The travel war may have begun without intention, but Canada is winning it with purpose. And the world is finally paying attention.